Wow, that was really awkward. Okay, we're gonna just cut that out. Hi guys, and welcome to today's video. Today's video is one that I have been wanting to film for a while, considering it has now been 2 months post-show, and the topic, as you can see by the title, is about prep. So I wanted to film this because I feel like there's just like weird little things, like quirky little things, not necessarily bad, about prep that people don't like talk about or think to mention or anything like that. So here I am giving you the secrets of prep, which aren't even really gonna be that like helpful or anything. Like I'm not like giving tips or anything. I just wanted to talk about my experience with prep and kind of along those lines. So let's get started. I prepped for 20 weeks for my first show, which was 2 months ago, October 28th, 2016. It was the NPC All-Stars in downtown Kansas City. And I will say I had a very good experience. I ended up taking home some hardware, if you have not been following me. But I got 5th in novice and 4th in open. So I was very happy with my first show day, and I will definitely be competing again, but it's not going to be for a long while. I want to take a good off season and build my metabolism up, which I know everybody says, but really like once you go through it, if you're a competitor, then you understand. Also, I just want to start out by saying that prep is as easy or as hard as you make it. So obviously, like, you're gonna be tired and you're gonna be hungry and it's gonna be hard. But honestly, when I think back to prep, like when I listen to songs that I listened to when I would be on the way to the gym, or when I use my coffee mug that I used before my fasted cardio in the mornings at 4 a.m. on prep, I just like, those are some of my fondest memories, even though, like, that sounds crazy. Like, yeah, it wasn't ideal, and it wasn't, like, something that an average person would choose to do, but just thinking back to those early morning drives to the gym, because I live, like, about 20 minutes away from my gym, and those, like, every single cardio session, like, I don't know, if you've been through a prep, then, like, you probably get what I'm saying, but if you're thinking about competing, just know that it's, like, it's all in your mind. Like, I could look back at that and be like, that was so terrible, that was awful, not worth it, dumb, stupid, like, I could have a totally negative, like, vibe from that, but I don't, because I wanted it to be a good experience. You know what I'm saying? Like, everything is mind over matter, so just keep that in mind as we go through this. Also, the way that I was thinking I was going to go through this was just kind of like from my head to my toes with like things on prep and how I felt. So I guess just like starting at the top, as you get deeper into a caloric deficit, you definitely have what they call prep brain or like brain fog, but that doesn't really hit you until you're at least halfway through your prep, and like obviously much more so toward the very end. There would be days where I legitimately like could not think of a word, or like English just got kind of hard, you know, just random things that you would not expect. But honestly, that happens to everybody at some point. Like it doesn't only happen to people that are in caloric deficits. So just know that that's real, but you don't really, I don't know. People that complain about prep, to me, it's just like, well, then why are you doing it? You know, like, don't put yourself through something that you don't want to do. Like, you chose your circumstances, you chose to do this, so don't complain about it. You know what I mean? Like, I just took it as, like, such a growth and learning opportunity. Again, I had, like, a great experience, even though, you know, some days were obviously very, very hard. Like, much harder than other days. You know, some days you wake up and you want to hit your macros, and you do it, and you love the whole day, and other days you're like, oh my god, like I would do anything to have a free meal. And that's part of prep, you know, that helps you grow not only physically but definitely mentally. Like I think the mental benefits from this lifestyle are so much more than the physical benefits. Like, yeah, it's awesome to be like shredded and like cutting and stuff, but just looking back again, like I talked about those fond memories, it's just like, wow, I grew so much as a person in just those 20 weeks. Which is why I plan on, you know, doing it again and continuing this NPC athlete lifestyle. So there's that. Okay, so we went over the brain fog. Another thing that I'm going to kind of like group with this area is, yeah, you're tired. You are perpetually tired. When your coffee wears off, obviously. But the thing is, like, your quality of sleep is just not there. Like, it's just lacking. Like, I'm a person who loves sleep. I can nap whenever I want. Like, if I didn't have to, like, work or go to school, like, I can nap on demand. I have always been a late sleeper. I love sleep. And, like, now I'm back to that point where I'm just like, oh, it's so hard to get out of bed in the mornings. But on prep, it's like you're perpetually tired, but you're never rested. Like, you sleep throughout the night, but when your alarm goes, or personally for me, like, when my alarm went off, I was like, oh, I guess I'll get out of bed now. Like, I don't even need to hit snooze because I wasn't really resting anyway, so I guess I'll just get up and do stuff. And, like, when I was in it, like, when that was happening, I was like, this is awesome. Like, I'm productive. This is great. Like, I'm not having a hard time getting out of bed. And now that I've, like, transitioned back to, like, a more homeostatic point, I realize that my sleep was just not great quality while I was on prep. And that is what happens. Like, your body starts to quasi, like, shut down. You know what I mean? Like, you're really pushing yourself, and obviously I have to put the disclaimer in there. I know that prepping for bodybuilding shows is not healthy, not sustainable, not good for your hormones, blah, 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 blah. If you haven't done very much research into competing and you're watching me as like one of your first contacts into this world, just know everything I just said is very true. If you are thinking about competing, you need to have a very solid foundation in place, and you need to be in a good place mentally and physically, but that is a video for a different day. So anyway, yeah, your sleep really diminishes. I'm like trying to think, go down my body. I think the next thing would probably be, I mean, I could say a lot about digestion, but really it's just like, you don't output a lot because you're not intaking a lot, if you get what I'm saying. Just figure out your foods. For me, that was very clean, very whole foods, and same thing every day. I wasn't necessarily on a meal plan. I was on macros, but it's almost easier to just do a meal plan and eat the same thing every day, especially when you're doing carb cycling and you get a refeed, because then you can like look forward to your refeed and everything's just on point and good to go. Consistency is key in all aspects of the fitness lifestyle. So there's that. But the next thing that I was going to say was, I feel like this is a very obvious one, but maybe that's because I'm like super familiar with this topic, but women, you will lose your period. Personally, so before I prepped, I studied abroad in China, May to June, about 3 weeks. And then as soon as I came home, I started prepping. I lost about 10 pounds inadvertently in China because I had worked my metabolism up so high in my last improvement season, and I wasn't eating enough in China because all they eat is like freaking roots and plants. Okay, so like I inadvertently lost a lot of weight there, and we walked everywhere. So I had already lost like 10 pounds, and then as soon as I came home, I started prep. And again, I did a 20-week prep. And honestly, the last time that I had a period was in China. I am now 2 months post-show, like I was saying, and I still don't have it back, but that's like a very short amount of time, or period of time, no pun intended, post-show. So I don't really know like what to expect or when I'm going to get it back, but like that's kind of the point of me taking an off season. That's like at the top of my priority list, is to get my hormones back where they need to be and get my, you know, femininity back. Even though, I'm not gonna lie, it's kind of dope not having to deal with that, but it's also, if you don't realize that that is unhealthy, then you should not be competing. You need to get back to a very healthy like point for your body, you know. Women are meant to have that happen every month. So that's just, I feel like that's like a very common known fact, but maybe it's not. So, okay, so I'm trying to think, just like all over, like full body, since you are in a caloric deficit, you will probably be sore most of the time you exist because it's very hard to recover because you don't have the food to recover and your muscles are just, it's just science. Like, I don't know how else to explain that. Like, you're gonna be sore. I think you just kind of get used to it, you know? Another thing, going back to sleep, usually when I lay in bed, like now that I'm like more normal and like post-show and eating a lot, I'm very cozy, like very cozy with all my blankets. I like to swaddle myself. I like to have stuff like up around my neck, hence the sweater. But when I was on prep, like I wasn't comfortable in bed. Like I could be laying on all the softest things and I just wasn't comfy. I was not cozy, okay? It just, I don't know. It's weird. It's weird. Like maybe that only happens to me, but if you're a competitor and that's happened to you, like just the difference of prep, sleep / bed, and improvement season, sleep / bed, like wow, night and day. Freaking, it's, I don't know. It was just weird. I know I keep saying that, but yeah. Okay, obviously it's gonna be like pretty mentally challenging, especially if you're someone who is not used to tracking macros or hasn't been tracking them for a while, or you don't really know like the ins and outs of the little nuances. So like, for example, if you cook a chicken breast, you should be weighing it raw, and then you should cook it, and then you should weigh it cooked and make a proportion, because 1 ounce of raw chicken is not the same as 1 ounce of cooked chicken. 4 ounces of raw chicken has about 25 grams of protein, but 4 ounces of cooked chicken does not have 25 grams of protein, okay? You should be making this proportion for all of your protein sources. Honestly, for all your food sources, if you are cooking it, like if you're not eating it raw. So I did that for my protein sources, you know, like ground beef, chicken, stuff like that. And then veggies, I always steamed them. And some veggies, it'll be like the same before you steam it and the same after it. Some of them will be like very different, where you're gonna have to like make the proportion and you log a certain amount, but you serve yourself a certain amount. If that sounds like weird or doesn't make sense, I know. It kind of doesn't. But I don't know how else to explain it besides like sitting down with you and like showing you how to do it. If anyone's interested in that, let me know. I'll do like a little video about that. But just little things like that. And over time, like tracking macros, you're gonna get burned out, especially if you are not used to it. So you just gotta know, like, it's gonna be a mental struggle just as much as a physical struggle, which is why I really, really recommend putting yourself in the hands of a good coach. I am with Nick Tong. If you don't know, his Instagram is Nick Tong Strong. Surely you have heard of him and seen his work. He is amazing. I've wanted to work with him for years, and I'm so, so happy to be a part of the team. I actually prepped myself for the first 10 weeks of my prep, and then the opportunity presented itself and I got with Nick, so he took the back half, and now I am with him indefinitely, which is super exciting. So in the past, you know, I've taken myself through an improvement season, I've maintained, and I've cut. So I like have been tracking macros for a while now, at least a couple years, and I'm familiar with, you know, everything that has to do with that. So prep, like, I don't know, I'm not gonna say that prep was easy, because some days are not easy, but I think it treated me very well. I think I was successful and I did what I set out to do. I told my friends like literally 2 years ago that I'm going to compete someday, and I knew I wanted to go through an off season first, so that's what I did. I took myself through an off season, and then I started prep. So that is that. Oh, this random one. That was weird. So the leaner that I got, again, the more uncomfortable I got, like laying in bed and like, oh my god. First of all, the number one thing, I should make this the thumbnail, is you will be cold everywhere you go. Everywhere. freaking so cold all the time, everywhere. You cannot get away from it. Nobody told me. Nobody told me that. So if you're thinking about competing, you better invest in some freaking fleece, everything, because it is, I hate being cold. Oh my God, I hate it. So that was honestly something that I really freaking struggled with. It was very, very enraging being cold all the time. Do you get it? Did I talk about it long enough? Okay, but back to the other thing that I didn't want to forget. The leaner and leaner that I got, the more uncomfortable I was. So, like, I was talking about, like, laying in bed, I was uncomfortable. Sitting in chairs, not comfortable. Because it's like chair, tailbone. Just like tailbone, everything. I don't know why, no one ever told me that. I don't know why anyone would tell anyone that. But I'm here to tell you that your tailbone is going to be out to freaking play, okay? And it got to a point where, I was about halfway through my prep and I'm driving my car and it felt like my shirt was like tucked under my butt or something, or like the seat, like the little pillows in the seat were like weird or something. And like for days, maybe even weeks, I'd like try and like adjust myself in the car and I was like, man, something is just not right back there. So finally I figured out it's because I have leaned down so much that my tailbone's just, rolling around back there. That sounds fucking weird, but like that's the best way I can explain it to you. Your tailbone is going to be uncomfortable. You as a human are going to be uncomfortable. So just beware. Okay, I think that's everything. I know this video is like kind of long, but I haven't sat down with the camera for a while and chatted. So honestly, if there's anything I forgot, I'll put it in when I edit, or like I'll put it in the description box. But I think I got everything. I am going to be going to the LA Fit Expo next week, and I am pumped. I've never been to an expo. The LA Fit Expo is the one that I've had my eyeballs on for years. So if you're gonna be there, let's freaking party, okay? I act like anybody who watches this is gonna be there or like see me. I don't know. Whatever. I'm just letting you know that there's gonna be some LA Fit Expo footage, and I know it's not exciting to watch expo footage because I, as a viewer, don't really enjoy it. I don't get anything out of it. But I'm gonna do it for myself, and if you want to watch, I appreciate you. Okay, that's great. We're gonna meet some people, we're gonna hang out, we're gonna eat some good food because it is improvement season. I'm so excited. Life is great. Okay, I got free meals now, aka 1 per week. I got mine planned for New Year's Eve. It's gonna be Mexican food. That's all I gotta say. That's all I gotta say. Also, if you would like to see my free meals, or anything else like me just being dumb or chatting or whatever, I am way more active on Instagram in this moment. So follow my Instagram right here, MelissaJane_fit. Yeah. I want to post more YouTube videos, but it's hard, okay? It takes a little more time than just like making an Instagram story. So that is all for today. If you watched this far, thank you so much. I appreciate you. If you have questions, please ask. I love interacting with you all, and I love to help as much as I can. I always find it very helpful to talk to someone who's been through something that I'm about to go through or I'm thinking about doing. So I would love to be that person for you if you have questions. Please like the video, please subscribe, and I will catch you in the next one. Bye!